Secretary, please begin.
Good morning. This is the City Planning Commission public meeting held at the NYC City Planning Commission hearing room, Lower Concourse, 120 Broadway. Today's hearing will be chaired by Commissioner Richard Eady. Today is Wednesday, February 28, 2018. As a courtesy during the proceedings, we ask that you please turn off all cell phones and beepers. All speakers should fill out a speaker's card. In addition, we ask that those providing testimony, please identify yourself, limit your remarks to 3 minutes, and speak clearly into the microphone. I will now call the roll. Chair Lago, Vice Chairman Knuckles, Commissioner Besser.
Here.
Commissioner Cerullo.
Here.
Commissioner Delausse. Commissioner Dweck.
Here.
Commissioner Eady.
Here.
Commissioner Efron.
Here.
Commissioner Knight.
Here.
Commissioner Levin. Commissioner Marin.
Yes.
Commissioner Ortiz.
Here.
A quorum is present. The first item is the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of Wednesday, February 14, 2018.
On the minutes, a motion to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Minutes are approved.
Scheduling. On calendar numbers 1 through 13, we have resolutions for adoption. Scheduling Wednesday, March 14, 2018 for a public hearing to be held at NYC City Planning Commission hearing room, Lower Concourse, 120 Broadway.
On the resolutions, a motion to approve.
So move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The resolutions are adopted. Thank you.
The next part of the calendar is the report section, page 46. Borough of Manhattan, calendar numbers 14 and 15. Calendar number 14, CD 10, C180115HAM. Calendar number 15, C180116ZSM. In the matter of applications for UDAP designation, project approval, disposition of city-owned property, and for the grant of a special permit concerning the CUCS West 127th Street supportive housing. For favorable reports on calendar numbers 14 and 15, Commissioner Eady.
Yes.
Commissioner Besser.
Yes.
Commissioner Cerullo.
Yes.
Commissioner Delausse. Commissioner Dweck.
Yes.
Commissioner Efron.
Yes.
Commissioner Knight.
Yes.
Commissioner Levin.
Yes.
Commissioner Marin.
Yes.
Commissioner Ortiz.
Yes.
Favorable reports have been adopted on calendar numbers 14 and 15. Borough of Manhattan, calendar number 16 concerning 31 Bond Street. This item has been laid over. Borough of Manhattan, calendar number 17, CD2, C180069ZSM, in the matter of an application for the grant of a special permit concerning 21 East 12th Street parking garage. For a favorable report on calendar number 17, Commissioner Eady,
Yes.
Commissioner Besser,
Yes.
Commissioner Cerullo,
Yes.
Commissioner Dweck,
Yes.
Commissioner Efron,
Yes.
Commissioner Knight,
Yes.
Commissioner Levin.
On this application, I'm having great difficulty. I recognize that this special permit meets the technical findings required for the residential growth special permit. But I also think that the intention of the special permit, as stated in the zoning resolution, is to serve the parking needs of a residential development. This one goes far beyond that. And the argument in its favor is that it serves the parking needs of the wider neighborhood. I have real difficulty with approving such a much bigger number of parking spaces than are needed for this particular building, particularly at this location with good transit options. So I am going to abstain on this one.
Okay. Commissioner Marin?
Yes.
Commissioner Ortiz?
Yes.
A favorable report has been adopted on calendar number 17. Borough of Manhattan, calendar number 18, CD4, in the matter of a CAPA rule change concerning the West Chelsea Affordable Housing Fund for adoption on calendar number 18. Commissioner Eady,
Yes.
Commissioner Besser,
Yes.
Commissioner Cerullo,
Yes.
Commissioner Dweck,
Yes.
Commissioner Efron,
Yes.
Commissioner Knight,
Yes.
Commissioner Levin,
I'm grateful to the staff for taking another look at this, and I vote yes.
Commissioner Marin,
Yes.
Commissioner Ortiz.
Yes.
Calendar number 18 has been adopted. Borough of Brooklyn, calendar number 19, CD8, C180095, ZMK, in the matter of an application for a zoning map amendment, concerning 35 Underhill Avenue rezoning for a favorable report on calendar number 19. Commissioner Edie?
Yes.
Commissioner Besser?
Yes.
Commissioner Cerullo?
Yes.
Commissioner Dweck?
Yes.
Commissioner Efron?
Yes.
Commissioner Knight?
Yes.
Commissioner Levin?
Yes.
Commissioner Marin?
Yes.
Commissioner Ortiz?
Yes.
A favorable report has been adopted on calendar number 19. Citywide calendar number 20, in the matter of a proposed CAPA rule change for the paperless filing system for adoption on calendar number 20. Commissioner Edie?
Yes.
Commissioner Besser?
Yes.
Commissioner Cerullo?
Yes.
Commissioner Dweck?
Yes.
Commissioner Efron?
It's nice to say the final farewell to 22 Reed Street. I vote yes.
Commissioner Knight?
Yes.
Commissioner Levin?
Yes.
Commissioner Marin?
Yes.
Commissioner Ortiz?
Yes.
Calendar number 20 has been adopted. Borough of Staten Island, calendar numbers 21 and 22. Calendar number 21, CD 2 N170460ZAR. Calendar number 22 N170461ZAR. In the matter of applications for the grant of authorizations concerning 46 East Loop Road for adoption on calendar numbers 21 and 22. Commissioner Edie?
Yes.
Commissioner Besser?
Yes.
Commissioner Cerullo?
Yes.
Commissioner Dweck?
Yes.
Commissioner Efron?
Yes.
Commissioner Knight?
Yes.
Commissioner Levin?
Yes.
Commissioner Marin?
Yes.
Commissioner Ortiz?
Yes.
Calendar numbers 21 and 22 have been adopted. The next part of the calendar is the public hearing section on page 93. Borough of the Bronx, calendar number 23, CD3 N180153HAX. A public hearing in the matter of an application for a UDAP designation and project approval concerning 1490 Southern Boulevard.
Thank you. This matter will begin with a presentation from the applicant team. We have Kay Reel from HPD, Jill Crawford from Type A, Andy Bernheimer from Bernheimer Architecture, and then following them to answer questions, we have Donald Manning from JASA, Annie Trishwell from Type A, and Ted Weinstein from HPD to answer questions. Please proceed. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Kay Reel, representing the
Thank you. Thank you.
And excuse me, it's a 10-minute presentation.
Yes, it's a great presentation. My name is Kay Reel, representing the applicant HPD. It's my pleasure to present to you with a new development to be located at 1490 Southern Boulevard between East 172nd Street and Jennings Street. This development will provide 114 units of affordable rental housing for seniors, plus one superintendent's unit in a new 10-story building. This project was selected in 2016 as a result of an MWBE Building Opportunity RFP designed to develop vacant city-owned sites through creation of 100% affordable housing. This particular city property is currently occupied by a long vacant, two-story mixed-use building, which is in poor condition and will be demolished. In addition to providing affordable permanent residence for seniors, the proposed development will also offer ground floor community facility space to be operated by the Jewish Association Serving the Aging and the LGBT Network. Due to a previous disposition approval of the site in 1985, this is a non-ULURP UDAP application, and we are only seeking UDAP approval. We request your approval of this application to support a project that is responsive to community needs, will provide much-needed services to the LGBT community in the surrounding area, and is appropriate with the neighboring context. Members of the development team are here to present the project more comprehensively and answer questions, and I'm also able to answer questions.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Jill Crawford. I'm from Type A Real Estate Advisors. We are a New York City-based women-owned business enterprise, and we are fortunate enough to be designated as the developers for 1490 Southern Boulevard through the HPD MWBE RFP process last year. While our company, Type A, fits neatly into the definition of an emerging developer, my partners, Annie Trishwell, Andrea Kretschmer, and I all have decades of experience developing in New York City. We've been developing and preserving buildings that serve communities across the city, among them more than 1 million square feet of public schools serving about 10,000 kids a year, 750 units of affordable housing, community centers, houses of worship, affordable manufacturing space, public parks, playgrounds, plazas, and one small baseball field that's very close to my heart. Many of our past and current projects are located in the Bronx, and we're delighted to have the opportunity to develop again in the borough. At 1490 Southern Boulevard, we're proposing a 10-story building, 100% affordable units, 115 units, including 75 studios, 39 one-bedrooms, and 1 two-bedroom unit, which will be set aside for a live-in superintendent. All of the studios and one-bedroom units are proposed to be affordable to senior-headed households earning up to 50% of AMI and are anticipated to be supported by project-based Section 8 vouchers. The proposed design includes a ground floor community room and laundry facilities, as well as offices for property management and tenant services. The design also includes an 8th floor exercise room for tenants that will open out onto a terrace on the setback roof, which is designed for passive recreation. We also have a garden in the rear of the building, which is designed for both active and passive recreation for the tenants. Type A is engaging with JASA, the Jewish Association for Services for the Aging, to provide tenant services, as well as JASA Housing Management for on-site property management services. JASA is a 49-year-old nonprofit service organization and one of the largest providers of services to seniors across the city. They provide direct services from case management and counseling to home care, legal and financial services, meal services, and transportation, including, importantly, serving more than 3,000 adults and seniors who have histories of homelessness or are at risk of eviction. Currently, the project at 1490 Southern Boulevard is anticipated to include a 30% set aside for formerly homeless senior-headed households. JASA will also be engaged to provide property management services on the site, and they currently own and manage 7 senior residences, which house nearly 2,300 low and moderate income and disabled adults across the city. In addition, JASA has 11 standalone senior centers and programs in 8 locations in the Bronx, including directly across the street from 1490 Southern Boulevard with a geriatric outpatient mental health program at a senior center operated by Neighborhood Shop. Our colleague Donald Manning is here to also answer questions about JASA. And finally, we're very excited to be working with the LGBT Network, a nonprofit community organization with almost 25 years of experience serving the LGBT communities in New York City and Long Island. The network will operate out of a community facility space of approximately 3,800 square feet on the ground floor. As you may know, the Bronx currently does not have a bricks and mortar LGBT center at all. There are several groups that are trying to rectify that, but we're delighted to be working with the LGBT Network to be at the forefront of addressing that need. They currently operate 4 centers with resources that serve tens of thousands of people every year, and they range from senior-focused programming and home visits to youth services, arts and culture programming, health and wellness, HIV prevention and screening, and a variety of community building programs. The plan is to replicate that model here at 1490 Southern Boulevard. It's worth mentioning because I understand there was a question in the past regarding the network's feeling about transparency on the facade of the building. And we have been working actively with them on the design of the ground floor facade and have confirmed with them that they're indeed interested in an open and transparent facade, and they'll deal with privacy issues inside the building with internal partitioning as required. And lastly, with respect to the project schedule, we're more than halfway through the design. We're looking to finish that up in the spring. We anticipate closing on construction financing in December of this year. We'll immediately kick off a approximately 20-month construction schedule and be looking to have a fully occupied building in the fall of 2020. Andy Bernheimer from Bernheimer Architecture will now run you quickly through the design. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Andy Bernheimer, and I'm the principal of Bernheimer Architecture in Brooklyn. So 1490 Southern Boulevard's architecture is strong and contemporary, and we're confident it will help the continued growth of this neighborhood. The building establishes a clear and visually open edge at Southern Boulevard, with significant glazing at the ground floor giving views both into the large building lobby and the significant community facility while bringing light out to the space of the sidewalk, abutting the raised train lines. This initial openness is critical, reveals activity inside while creating defensible space in the public realm outside. Massing-wise, the building is straightforward, and we've utilized the dormer rule and stacked our bulk above the setback towards the north. This opens up the large terrace that Jill mentioned to the residents of the building, which is connected to a community room on the 8th floor used for activities, with an expansive exterior space having broad views to the city beyond outside. That space also contains a shading structure and raised planting beds. That space outside also complements a rear yard at the 2nd floor, which contains walking paths and encourages physical activity amongst the senior residents. The primary building material is brick, and it is deployed in 2 types to create differentiation and variety. The brick has 2 characteristics of note: tone and reflectivity. On the lower, more southern portion of the building, we are cladding the structure in a glazed black brick. This creates a duality, a strong established facade, yet it dematerializes and gets lighter as the sun changes position, as weather changes, and as time passes. The reflective nature of the brick brings a great deal of variation in response to the changes in natural light and the environment. The second type of brick is a lighter tone of gray and breaks down the 150-foot-long facade into 2 distinct but complementary sections. And a third complementary material along Southern Boulevard manifests in the form of an accent panel, yellowish bronze in color. These panels sit next to each of the sound attenuating windows and balance the darkness of the main brick tones with a specular quality, capturing and reflecting light with warming contrast. A larger swath of champagne-toned metal paneling clads the primary southwestern facade of the setback terrace, tying those different pieces of the building together. I just want to say that we are extremely excited about this project, and we're optimistic about the growth of this corridor in the Bronx. And we very much trust that this building will be a worthy new addition to the South Bronx. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Commissioner Levin.
Yes, I guess I have a development program question and then also an architectural question. The programming that's reflected in this proposal, was that something that was dictated by the RFP, or was that something that Type A chose?
You mean as the senior?
The seniors with a community facility component.
So
I mean, it's a very appealing and exciting project, and I wonder if we credit you or do we credit the city with that?
Well, I think you should credit the site because it is a rather small site. And so when we looked at the financing, one of the ways we could really get the most out of HPD and HTC financing is by having as many units as possible. We had to meet a minimum threshold to be attractive to certain programs. And so through senior housing, which was obviously an at-risk population from a rent perspective citywide, we were able to both serve a community in need and have the number of units required to apply for certain programs through HPD.
Okay. Good. It's we haven't seen a whole lot of them since the zoning was changed to allow them to happen, and it's
I will also say that the MIH in particular with regard to seniors allowed us to have more units than we would have before, and so we took advantage of that, and we're very grateful for that.
It's great to see it come off the zoning resolution page and turn into an image. And then on an architectural question, I understand that this site is a little bit challenged with the slope up the back.
Yes, it has a piece of rock in the rear of the site that slopes down from the east towards the west.
Right. So then the houses or the buildings that are across that slope are quite a bit higher.
We expect that they're probably at least at almost our 3rd floor in height.
Right. But they're then going to be facing your rear wall. So my perpetual question here is what kind of treatment are you giving, even though it's your rear wall, it's going to be permanently visible. Yes. What attention are you giving to that?
So we're actually in conversation currently with HPD around budget issues. So our original intention was to have a brick building on all 4 sides. It may turn out that the back of the building is EFIS, but we intend that back of the building is still within the color scheme of the entire building.
We expect it'll be a compositional and aesthetic question about making sure that it's not foreboding. It'll be lighter and hopefully good to look at.
Right. It's just, it's great that your original instinct was to clad it with brick, treat it as a facade just like all the others, and maybe something will fall out of the sky and you can do that.
We hope so.
EFIS is not anything we like to see, but we understand that it sometimes is necessary.
We're currently only looking at the rear facade, again, only just because of cost concerns.
Okay, well, we'll keep hoping for brick.
Yep, us too.
Me too.
Commissioner Efron.
Annie, it's really nice to see you up there. If I remember correctly, your father was actually at city planning way back when.
Yes.
It's interesting that you've turned a cluster of social service-related activities in a particular neighborhood, which often is seen as a negative in the fair share concept, into something that seems quite positive. Can you just talk a little bit about that idea and where you see the advantages for this project with regard to the neighbors who are engaged in social services as well?
Well, so as Jill mentioned, there is a senior center right across the street. But to be fair, I think really the unit mix and unit count brought us to seniors. As we started thinking about that in the context of the broader project and just looking at senior housing and the dearth of affordable housing for seniors citywide, we were very moved by this project as perhaps a drop in the bucket, but in the right direction towards providing rent-strapped seniors with affordable housing. And then as we got project-based vouchers integrated into the project at the direction of HPD, we were even more excited that we were able to provide even more affordable options for seniors. So, and the community has always been very receptive to senior housing, and especially with the project-based vouchers. So we have had zero pushback and lots of, been very embraced on the senior side. And the LGBT network, actually, we as well acknowledge that since there's no bricks and mortar location in the Bronx, we thought that this was a perfect opportunity. Andrea Kretschmer had worked with them on some projects in the past. We didn't know how the community or the council member would receive this and put our foot forward and have been met with incredible support at every level, community board, council member, borough president. Everyone is incredibly supportive of both of these uses in the building. And obviously, JASA has an incredible amount of experience in the senior world, both providing programming and managing senior buildings. So we feel very fortunate to include their services in what we're doing. So we're sort of surprised that the LGBT Center was as well received as it has been unilaterally. And we're very happy about that and encouraged.
Great, thank you.
Commissioner Delahoo's.
First, Acting Chair Edie, if I may ask, since I was late to have my votes recorded in the affirmative for the prior votes. And
Yes.
then, thank you.
Madam Secretary.
And then, sorry, I have a little cold all of a sudden.
You're not alone.
So are you guys using Sarah financing for this?
Yes.
Okay. And when's the anticipated closing?
December 2018.
Okay. So maybe by then the term sheets will be updated and we won't need EFS in the back.
It could be. It could be.
I'll keep my fingers crossed for you. Great. Thank you.
Yep. Oh, I didn't mean to walk away. Sorry.
Commissioner Ortiz.
Hi. Just an open question. I'm curious about any sort of energy efficiency attributes to the building. We didn't hear much about it, but I wondered if you're incorporating that in the design.
Yep, so we're required to and are happy to comply with enterprise green standards for the whole building. Our building is currently going under an energy modeling check against those enterprise green community standards currently. But we're required to meet them and we're happy to do so.
Okay, so nothing above and
We
beyond
looked
that.
at PVs on the roof and the payback just didn't make sense for a building of our size. And so while we had intended to incorporate them, we were advised by our consultants that it wasn't. We'd have to replace them before the life before the payback, and it just didn't. It actually made inverse sense to use them.
Okay, thank you.
In this size of project.
Any other questions? Is there anyone else present who would like to speak on this item? No? If not, then this hearing is closed. Thank you very much.
Borough of the Bronx, calendar number 24, CD8 N180239PXX, a public hearing in the matter of a notice of intent to acquire office space for the Taxi and Limousine Commission.
Thank you. The first speaker on this item is Brian Schweitzer. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Brian Switzer. I'm the Director of Operations for the Tax and Limousine Commission. I'm speaking this morning in favor of the Commission's desire to acquire 40,000 square feet of office space and a 100-space parking lot at 188 230th Street in the Bronx. The space will be used to temporarily house our Uniform Services Bureau Enforcement Division and its supporting departments for the next 5 years. As described in the proposal, the city is rehabilitating our city-owned property at 2455 BQE West in Woodside, Queens. As you might recall, I was here in August with a similar application, but after the approval, the landlord declined to move forward and with our lease, so we had to find a new location. Thankfully, DCAS was able to find a new spot for us very quickly, so we are grateful for that. Just a little bit about our operations at 230th Street. The office will serve as a central dispatch location for most of the TLC personnel. And these officers are the ones that are deployed citywide to ensure the high standards of the for-hire industry by performing car stops, performing field inspections, issuing summonses to yellow medallions, Greenboro taxis, livery cars, black cars which are Uber and Lyft, commuter vans, and ambulettes. So one of the things we had to think about when we looked at this location was its location in the city. So we had to take, we had lots of long conversations in our office about that, about where the employees were going to be working and everything. One of the issues for us is finding a location that has so many parking spaces. So there is a very, very, very limited quantity in New York City that that would also fit our budget. And so we had to go with 230th Street. So one of the conversations we had in our office was about what we could do for our employees. You know, maybe if someone lived in Staten Island, they would work in our Staten Island office. If they worked in Brooklyn, maybe they can go to our JFK office, that sort of thing. So that's not going to work for everyone, obviously, but we're trying to do that as much as we can. And we're trying to move into the space very quickly because our Woodside project is moving right along. So we have to find a temporary house for them in the meantime. So that's all I have for right now. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
I should also mention that Mona's Ilino,
Yep.
DCAS is also here to answer questions.
Yeah, if you have any questions on the lease.
I just appreciate you commenting about trying to accommodate employees for whom this change might really present a problem. That definitely came up in our review session. Obviously, I know you really need to move out of your current space, but it's good that you're trying to be creative.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Is there anyone else present who would like to speak on this item? If not, then this hearing is closed. Thank you.
Borough of Brooklyn, calendar number 25, CD7, C150253, PQK, a public hearing in the matter of an application for the acquisition of property concerning the St. Andrews Daycare Center.
Thank you. First speaker is Mickey Ronan.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mickey Ronan. I'm an assistant commissioner at ACS in the Children and Families Wellbeing Division. And I'm here to talk to you this morning about our support for the property located at 4917 4th Avenue in Brooklyn. And we are in favor in using this space as a continual space for the daycare, the child care program that we have currently sitting in this space. So this space was specifically designed for childcare. And we have our contracted children sitting at this site. The site is fully enrolled. So as a contracted early learn child care program, all of the families have to be certified by ACS as eligible for child care services, which means that all the children families earn up to 200% of the federal poverty level and have a reason for care, whether it's full-time employment or looking for work, or they are engaged in school or a training program, or if they're homeless. The clicker is... Thanks. Okay. So these are some photos taken inside of the facility. So the contractor is Sunset Bay Community Service, and the program itself is called St. Andrew's Community Childcare. They are contracted to serve 35 children. Again, they are fully enrolled as of earlier this week. They have 35 preschoolers at the site. So just so you know about the work that I do with my team, so I work with the program development team at ACS. We work with all of our contracted care programs. So we serve just under about 366 contracted programs. My teams go out and we provide monitoring and technical assistance to the programs. So we visit the programs anywhere from every 6 to 8 weeks or so. And we're looking for everything from, of course, health and safety issues, but also fulfilling the terms of their contract, Head Start performance standards, OCFS standards, et cetera. So we would like to continue services at this site because we know that it's necessary considering it's fully enrolled. If for some reason the site was to be sold, there are about 5 sites within a mile of this program that some of which are fully enrolled, but some of which do have some vacancies. So we would help transition those families if that's what comes to pass, but we're hoping that it does not.
Thank you. I should also make mention that we have Michael Bitar, the architect from DCAS, from ACS, and also Dale Lazarson from DCAS available for questions. Yes, Commissioner.
I have one question. I'm not sure if it's a DCAS question or an ACS question, but given that the church has indicated its interest in at least keeping its options open, will there be a demolition clause in this lease, or do we know for certain that there'll be a 5-year lease here?
So I'll turn that over to my colleagues.
Hi, thank you. That's a terrific question. For the record, I am Dale Lazarson with DCAS Real Estate Services. So that's a great question, and we are waiting. We are currently in dialogue with the church. The actual terms and conditions for what we have proposed, we did propose a 5-year. We are waiting on a response, and we do believe the response may be tied to the results of the RFP that the church is reviewing for what it is doing with its, or what it intends to do with its lot. So I can actually expand upon that in a moment if you'd like, or now, upon what's happening with the actual property itself.
So I guess the simplest answer to my question is you're not sure yet.
Yep, we're waiting on it. Yep.
Okay. Any other questions? No? Is there anyone else present who would like to speak on this item? If not, then the hearing is closed. Thank you.
Borough of Manhattan, calendar number 26, CD1 N180240PXM. A public hearing in the matter of a notice of intent to acquire office space for the Office of Labor Relations.
Thank you. Our first speaker is Renee Campion.
Yes.
Please. I should also mention we have Dale Lazarson here to answer questions as well.
Yes. Great, thank you so much. Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for allowing me to testify before you today. My name is Renee Campion, and I am the first Deputy Commissioner of the New York City Office of Labor Relations. We are commonly referred to as OLR. OLR is a city oversight agency responsible for representing the mayor of the City of New York in the conduct of all labor relations before the City of New York and its public sector labor unions. OLR negotiates with the certified bargaining representatives of public sector employees under the Taylor Law and the New York State Collective Bargaining Law, as stated in Executive Order 13 of 1990. The OLR Commissioner also serves on behalf of the mayor as the city's liaison with both labor and management in the private sector. OLR, in its oversight capacity, serves as a resource to agencies with regard to workforce labor issues. The staff at OLR assist their fellow agencies in handling personnel and payroll issues, labor management meetings, representing the city at representation hearings, and handling all grievances and arbitration matters. A major portion of our work is devoted to meeting with municipal union officials representing over 350,000 city employees. In fact, we have over 144 separate collective bargaining units that we negotiate contracts for, and it really feels that way. Employees who are in some of our largest unions include the UFT, the PBA, District Council 37, which represents our clericals and other city engineers, social workers, motor vehicle operators, and even chaplains. We also meet and bargain with unions representing doctors, nurses, pharmacists, lab technicians in New York City's health and hospitals. We also negotiate on behalf of NYCHA. In addition to collective bargaining, OLR is responsible for the management of the Employee Benefits Program. We administer the city benefit program that covers over 1 million lives for our active employees, their dependents, and their retirees. We have a customer service center where we have over 800 people being seen per month. We also manage the Deferred Compensation Plan, the Management Benefits Fund, and the various pre-tax programs. We also oversee the Employee Assistance Program, which we are particularly proud of because of its taking daily care of our city employees in their time of need. Our primary space is currently located in the 3rd and 4th floor of 40 Rector Street. That location sees over 1,200 people per month. Our lease is expiring in early 19, and a relocation is needed. OLR has been working closely with DCAS to identify sites and secure new space. We agree that the space at 22 Cortlandt on the 12th, 14th, and 15th floor satisfies our requirements. Dale is here to answer any specific questions about sites. The space will be improved to meet OLR and city standard requirements, and it will meet all of our space criteria. Of major importance to OLR is our access to City Hall and also our access to the Office of Management and Budget, DCAS, and the Office of Collective Bargaining. It will improve the efficiency of our agency in a couple of important ways at the current location. We'll be very close to City Hall, as I mentioned, which is very important since the commissioner. Okay. So if there's any, thank you very much for letting me testify.
Thank you.
We'll just skip past that. And I'll answer all of your questions, of which I probably have not mentioned here today.
Commissioner Dweck?
Can you elaborate more on the benefits of this new space?
The benefits of the new space, sure, absolutely. Let's skip that.
Continuing in line with what you... Including
its proximity to City Hall, absolutely. So the Commissioner of Labor is at City Hall, as well as myself as the first deputy, every week and frequently every day, sometimes twice a day. Currently, where we're located at 40 Rector Street, it is a 20-minute walk, or as Bob and I call it, a run to City Hall when we are frequently called on very short notice. Not a surprise necessarily. In addition to that, our research division, which does our labor costings, they work every day with the Office of Management and Budget, which is currently located at 255 Greenwich Street. And the senior labor team of OMB, as well as our senior costing team, are with each other physically during meetings and during consultations and labor strategy throughout the day. So their access to each other, we all, as City Hall sometimes does to us, we do to OMB, and we're calling them, can you show up for a meeting that started 10 minutes ago? Sure, and they come running over. Also, our attorneys, we have 10 attorneys in the Office of Labor Relations that handle all of our litigation. And the Office of Collective Bargaining, which is currently located at 100 Gold Street, it will actually at 22 Cortlandt be closer to 100 Gold Street. So our attorneys who are there on a daily basis for their hearings, and also needing access to city witnesses who are predominantly in Lower Manhattan, would be able to access 100 Gold Street much in a, sort of a much more efficient way. The other, if I, should I continue on just to, or is that too much? Okay, okay.
Make it a bargaining session of it.
Absolutely not, absolutely not. Probably why the commissioner is not here and I am. I speak a little bit smaller. So the other reason for the access is that currently we have employees, currently 14 employees at 22 Cortlandt Street who are involved in the Management Benefits Fund and the pre-tax flex benefits. At this point, we actually have supervisors and managers out of a little, what I call my small 135-person agency. We have managers and supervisors running back and forth that is actually every single day between 40 Rector Street and 22 Cortlandt to deal with supervision. I really believe that in a very small agency, I mean, if I was a big agency, an HRA, a uniform, or somebody where I could be spread out, in a small agency, the leadership and the management, I feel like, would be much more effectively done if I had my leadership all on site. And also personally, from a personal perspective, as being the number 2 in the executive division, I would also like to be available to my staff. And frequently what happens, as they know, is I only see the people at 22 Cortlandt at the holiday Christmas party. That makes me very sad. So I would like to have better access to them.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Efron.
Thank you. It's a very compelling case. You're a great advocate for your agency. Could you just elaborate and elucidate for us who is at 22 Cortlandt now, and even more specifically, how much space you have at Rector Street and how much new space you're taking at?
I believe the space.
Okay, we can.
I believe the space at Rector Street is 55,000.
It's about 53.
53,000, and I believe the space that we're going to is equitable.
Okay, but who's at Cortlandt now?
Right.
And
I have 14 employees right now at 22 Cortlandt Street who handle the management benefits fund and the pre-tax programs. So OLR, we sort of have two missions, right? We have the negotiating thing, which I've talked about. But we have the employee benefits program. And under the employee benefits program, of which we cover 1 million lives, we have the other supplemental medical benefits programs that we at OLR are responsible for. That was decided many decades ago. So we have staff over there at 22 Cortlandt. In addition to at 22 Cortlandt, I think I provide additional information is we have a vendor called FastCore. And the FastCore vendor is the record keeper for the deferred compensation plan. The deferred compensation plan has been in existence for the city employees since 1985. It has over 200,000 accounts. It currently has over $20 billion in value. So we've grown very much in 33 years. That record keeper has been our record keeper for the last, on contract, for the last 20 years. They are currently located at 22 Cortlandt, and they have approximately 60 employees. They actually are a walk-in center for city employees and their families to actually go to. So if I have a deferred compensation question, not just calling, I can actually physically go to 22 Cortlandt and be seen and get my issues addressed. So they are at 22 Cortlandt, and since we oversee them, it would be by having the entire agency under one roof, as I like to say, it would be more efficient to have our management overseeing all of that together.
Okay, that makes sense. May I continue? Maybe Ms. Lazarson can tell us what other city agencies or captive contractors are there.
Sure. At this, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. I thought she was.
She's available to answer questions. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, thank you. Yes, at this point in time, actually, the only city agency that will be a tenant will be OLR. However, FastCore, we do have the contract. DCAS holds a joint contract with FastCore for their space, but the only city agency direct will be OLR when we sign this lease.
I'm confused. You say will be. Aren't they there already?
A small staff.
The 14.
Yes.
14.
Yeah, a small staff, yes.
And will this, are they occupying a full floor or a portion of a floor, or where does that connect physically with the other space that is part of the application?
The actual other space is not part of this application. It exists today. FastCore is on the 28th floor, a portion of the 28th floor. OLR is seated on a portion of 14. This particular application will take all of 14, 15, and 12.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. That makes a lot of sense. It isn't present in the application as we have.
No, FastCore is not part of this application.
No, I mean OLR isn't. It's just.
Oh, you mean the existing presence? Yeah. I'm sorry, the existing presence? Okay, good.
Yeah,
Good,
our
thank you.
materials say that they're at 250 Broadway.
No.
Could I then speak on that? Oh, so our employee assistance program that happens to have 14 people, which has our social workers, masters of social work, are at 250 Broadway currently.
Well, that's different from the other ones you were
Right, they are separate. The only, if this was approved and we were able to move to 22 Cortlandt, the only employees of OLR that I would not have on site would be those employees at 250 Broadway. And the EAP program just generally is as you can imagine, very sensitive, confidential program. I would not prefer to have them separated. It does work for under the current circumstances, but ideally, when that leasing opportunity comes up, I would actually like to have them, ultimately, that'll be a conversation for another day, at 22 Cortlandt on different floors on another side of the building to maintain those confidential and sensitive matters that they oversee.
Thank you. Any other questions? Mr. Levin.
Yes, I have a question, I guess, for DCAS, and that's about what may be going on at 40 Rector Street. This is not the first application we've seen for a city agency that's had to leave 40 Rector, and I know that's been a very important real estate asset for the city. Should we anticipate other
city departures from 40 Rector? And if so, what's the plan?
So great questions. We don't actually have a lot of remaining tenancy that would be coming out of Rector, and I just wanted to dive into a little history here to answer a question specifically about this building. Round about 2013-14, the owner, which is Phillips International, actually decided to condo the building. And so some of the movement had to do with the sale of condos. And that is why at that point in time, much of the city presence was actually beginning to move out. We had many agencies there. OLR is one of the last remaining under that particular departure scenario. Recently, you saw the NYPD actually, you approved an application, thank you, for the World Trade Center command post that will be going into 40 Rector. In fact, one of the condominium buyers was the Chinese Institute, and it is with the Chinese Institute that we signed a lease for NYPD's presence. Yep, so we actually are coming back into that building, but OLR will be the last one leaving.
A little slow on the uptake here, but good.
Make sense? Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Any further questions? Is there anyone else present who would like to speak on this item? If not, this hearing is closed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Borough of Queens, calendar numbers 27 and 28. Calendar number 27, CD 13, C180209, ZMQ. Calendar number 28, C180210, PSQ. A public hearing in the matter of applications for a zoning map amendment and site selection of property concerning the NYPD 116 Precinct Station House.
Thank you. Our only speaker signed up is Philip Heller.
Yes. Good morning, Commissioners, and thank you for the opportunity to present the 116th Precinct. My name is Philip Heller. I'm Director of Capital Construction for the Police Department. I'm happy to be able to present the designs for the much-needed and long-awaited 116th Precinct Station House. This is in Rosedale, Queens. There you go. Oh. Magic touch. Thank you very much.
Just a firm thumb.
A firm thumb. Okay. Didn't go too far. So Rosedale, Queens, we're directly adjacent to the Rosedale Long Island Railroad Station. And the history behind the 116th Precinct, this is basically the southern sectors of the existing 105th Precinct. It's designed to address response times and greater community effectiveness for these neighborhoods, essentially Rosedale, Laurelton, Springfield Gardens neighborhoods. So this would be to provide a full service precinct where currently officers just turn out of the existing building, the 105 Annex, as we call it. So this is the existing 105 Annex with the adjacent surface parking directly next to the Long Island Railroad train station. We plan on building in the parking lot of this existing building. A little bit about community context, maybe a little difficult to see, but residential area directly across the street, and again, we're directly adjacent to the Long Island Railroad station. The building is really designed as a civic connector, the idea programmatically of NYPD's connection to the community, but also physically mediating between the train line and those residential neighborhoods in the design of the building. So the design of the building is that it essentially faces on North Conduit Avenue. We have parking behind the building. There is a public open space or plaza that is provided. Access to the train station is directly through that plaza. There's an existing entrance to the train station at that location, so we'll maintain that. We'll keep that open. We're also providing at a prominent corner of the building a community room. This is a new program component we've been putting into our precincts. 40th Precinct in the Bronx will have this, so it's something we've incorporated into all of our buildings going forward. So the building, you see it in blue here, occupies the existing parking lot. The parking that is displaced by the building will be accommodated both on our site and also via an arrangement with DOT. DOT owns sites adjacent to us, so we have an agreement which we will be entering into to provide a total of 163 off-street parking spaces. The existing 105 Annex will remain. It currently houses not only the 105 personnel, but also other commands from the borough of Queens South, so evidence collection, some of our detective squads. Floor plans. and the design is early. I'll take any questions you have.
Any questions? No? Okay, great. Thank you. Is there anyone else present who would like to speak on this item? If not, then this hearing is closed.
Thank you.
Madam Secretary, is there any other business before the commission?
No, Commissioner Edie.
Okay, if not, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.
Well done.
Time.